All right, what's up, people? Here I am on YouTube doing a little thing. I actually kind of feel compelled to share some of this journey that I've been going on. There's this book, and I'm gonna be doing. Hopefully, if I show up for myself, I'm gonna show up and do weekly entries for this book right here. I don't know if the camera is reversing it yet. Maybe I have to switch the camera around, but The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. It's really more like a workbook, like a course that you go through. And shout out to Dochi, honestly, and a few other of my friends, my friend Zach. And forgive me, there's someone who told me to get this book, my therapist. That's who told me to get it. And shout out to all of them for kind of just always reinforcing that book. Those were kind of the touch points that kept bringing it up. And so I had it on my shelf here for a long time and want to just kind of break through it or go through it and hopefully have a breakthrough. And wanted to kind of log it all and kind of hold myself accountable by making YouTube videos too. So yeah, so this book is, it says, The Artist's Way, A Spiritual Path to Higher Creativity. Internationally best-selling author Julia Cameron, including a new preface from the author, which I read. And, we've got Elizabeth Gilbert, the author of Eat, Pray, Love. She wrote another book called Big Magic that I read one year on vacation. Super good, super good. That helped, shift some of my perspective, my entire perspective on creativity, honestly. And I think that exposure to that book actually is kind of what made me buy into this. Because, not that I didn't, but I was like, if this one person's book can talk about creativity in this way and it changed my life, like, it could happen again. And Lamit, forgive me if you know who that is. She has another great supportive quote here. Martin Scorsese and Russell Brand. So some people from different walks of life, but praising the book, people who found their own creative success. But it's really, like I said, like a course that you go through, and each chapter is like a week, I do believe, at least it seems, like week 3. And it's really just like these exercises, these journaling exercises, and certain just commitments that you make with yourself to kind of get to higher creativity, spiritual path to higher creativity. But what I feel like I'm getting out of it is kind of removing the governor, like removing those barriers that you have, those hesitations to bring an idea to life. So like everyone has ideas all the time. The problem is people are really good, or the muscle memory of like pushing them down and avoiding them and disregarding them and thinking, oh, that was weird. Like, why did I think that? Or that's silly. Those kind of, disregarding comments. Where was I going with this? Yeah, it will just hold you back. It will keep you from really bringing ideas to life and realizing your potential, honestly. Everyone has the potential to do something great and create something amazing and things that connect with other people and help you find yourself. I mean, that was the main reason I feel like I started making music, was to try and discover something about myself. I actually just watched, there's this clip of David Bowie that circulates. I know a lot of like music creators would see it, where he's talking about how you kind of, he exemplified it well when he said something like, you're kind of just using it as a way to find out something about yourself. I mean, he really just kind of reinforced the point I'm making here. But yeah, I kind of want to talk about what I've been doing for this. Every day, the 2 main tools, here it says the basic tools. There are 2 pivotal tools in creative recovery: the morning pages and the artist date. And that's really what it is about. It's like creative recovery, because everyone is already inherently creative, and she kind of lays that out in the preface. But the morning pages is 3 just freehand writing pages. I mean, just put 3 blank pages in front of you, like whatever comes out. I do the crazy stuff. Probably not as crazy actually as some other people, but I'll just start out. You could literally write I don't know what to write today. I'm under the sun. It's really hot, and I'll do this. That's sometimes how I'll start the day, or maybe there's an idea that, we're thinking all day. So as soon as there's ideas, I just go where, I start where I left off. Like I just, whatever thought was already in my head, maybe I'm just starting to write it down instead of, think it. And so it's kind of just word vomit, honestly. Sometimes I'll break out into a poem, like all of a sudden I'll write a line and I'm like, ooh, let me rhyme with that. And then all of a sudden I'm doing like stanzas, or I'll doodle a little bit. Sometimes I'll literally have the idea within the page, like I should do this. And then I just stop writing. Like I should, get up and walk around. Boom. Okay. I put the book down and get up and walk around. And I don't necessarily count that as part of the morning pages. Like I still want to get to 3 pages a day, but it's cool to kind of do what comes to mind. And I think that's kind of the whole point, is to kind of remove those filters, like I said. So you do the morning pages. Like I said, you have to do 3. Should take it. I clock myself. It takes like 10 minutes to do 1, so I try and give myself 30 minutes to do that. It's called the morning pages because you want to do it as soon as you wake up. But I've also been struggling on that. I do about 2 pages on my lunch break at work for the last week and a half or so. It's been spotty. I mean, some days I'll decide to do something else with my lunch, but the last week I've really been trying to, all my coworkers see me walking out with my journal and this book every day, and I'll go out in the courtyard and just write and read. But yeah, so get your morning pages in. It's really just like trying to create that flow. I mean, there's some examples in the book that talk about people who, were lawyers and didn't have any kind of creative output in their life and those kind of things. And, that archetype. And all of a sudden, boom, they're like, they joined dancing classes and now they're teaching yoga, or they're a painter, you know what I mean? So it's just people, I think one of them was like started making birdhouses or something, but yeah, so it's just about kind of like getting yourself in tune with that creative energy, because she talks about it in a very spiritual way, but the God, whether you believe in God or not, personally I think we're all right in a lot of different ways, but like God is kind of working through you, like this universal force is just kind of what's driving everything, and you're just tapping into that and getting out of your own way and letting it come out. At least that's kind of how I've been taking it and how I've been seeing it. But yeah, so you do your morning pages, and then the other thing's the artist date, which is like honestly probably the hardest thing for me, because I can always just find the time to journal and get it going, but to get myself out of the house intentionally and also by myself seems difficult to really get into the schedule. I've been so busy lately and trying to finish this album and whatnot, so like with my free time that I have, I'm usually like trying to chip away at that. But the whole point of the artist day is really just to find some more source material in the world, like connect to your inner child, have that curiosity of looking around, going to museums and people watching and that kind of stuff, but also like to give you stuff that inspires you, and new color palettes and new stories. Like I feel like that's what it's about. Is really just kind of giving yourself more exposure to the world, so you have more to pull from it. And I could definitely use some of that. I've been struggling with writing and and getting new ideas formed and feeling like I know what to say and stuff like that. Shout out to the cactus mug from the Botanical Gardens here in Phoenix. My favorite mug. But yeah, so we're done with week 1. Been doing my morning pages. Got to get an artist date in. It might be right after this video, honestly. I might just go somewhere and see what happens. But then each week has kind of a theme to it. Like the first week I've been doing, what do they call week 1? Recovering a sense of safety, which is cool because I feel like this book's very therapeutic, but it's like through the lens of creative energy and a person's creativity. And so I feel like it's right on the money because I've always been really interested in improving myself and, emotional intelligence and just developing my skills and self-worth and all that kind of stuff. But this is like that exact perspective through the goals that I have in my own life. So this book's super sick. Again, I think about the only reason I'm making this video, honestly, is Dochi made a video that was like her finding this book and explains, her experience with it and stuff. And so it inspired me to hold myself accountable and show up for you guys, honestly, just show you what I'm doing and what I'm up to. But week 1, recovering a sense of safety, I think that's so cool because that's really where it has to start. Like, it's like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, for your creative endeavors. If you don't know what that is, it's basically saying different levels of like what humans require in life. It's kind of like a rough, theoretical model, but the first layer at the bottom is like food, shelter, security, you know what I mean? And so I feel like chapter 1 develops that foundation of like, this is, where you're going to start and feel safe and comfortable so that you can like start to push yourself out of the comfort zone. And that's cool. So it's really just like working affirmations and stuff. Like the first, you basically write, I can't remember what there's like a phrase that she had us write. Oh yeah. Wait. It's in here somewhere. Give me a minute. If I can't find it, I'll move on. Yeah, I can't find it. But it's basically a mantra, like a little affirmation that you say or you write down. You write it down 10 times, and then as a negative like belief or a negative thought about yourself comes up, you write those down too. So like you keep writing it down, and then whenever some like negative little like devil on your shoulder kind of thing like pops up in your head, you write those down until you get through 10 iterations of like the positive affirmation. And once you have all your negatives, then you flip that on its head. So like, I don't know, I mean, let me see if I can find that in my book here real quick. Luckily, I've been doing my morning pages, so I actually have a lot of pages in my way right now. Okay, yeah. So the phrase was, I, your name, am a brilliant and prolific whatever you want to be, like fill in the blank. And then you get some negative beliefs, and it's like, mine was like, you're broke, you're lost, something about self-trust, like, you got to show up, and maybe I don't trust myself enough to like show up for the stuff that I want to do. So like, you know what I mean? These negative thoughts would come up, and then you flip them on your head. So it's like, instead of you're broke, I wrote, I'm wealthy and I'm doing what's best for me. And so you just basically create your own personal affirmations, which is sweet, because I personally believe in the power of those kind of things. I think the thoughts that you have in your head are all that you really are driven by. And so if you can grab like life by the reins and tell yourself what you want to think, that's dope. And I think it's going to get you somewhere. So I do those after my morning pages, do my 3 pages or 2 pages is what I've been doing. And then I read my affirmations to myself and move on with my day. But yeah, I got to get the artist state in. And then there's some other exercises too that have you kind of think about creative enemies and like creative champions. I don't know, those weren't her exact words there, but basically people who you think were kind of antagonists to your creativity. So like, who are those people in your life that pushed back on it, or if you leaned into creativity, they had resistance there in your life. And it could be like the smallest little moments. Like some people really don't have those kind of some people don't have those oppositions to their creativity, but they might not have any support. You know what I mean? So like when you live in a world where there's no one really thinks about creativity in that way, or like you feel like no one is creative around you, then when you try and do something new and you try and get out and create something, then it just feels like you're out in a vacuum, like in an island. And I felt that many times. in my life when I felt like I was in places where that what I was doing was not. I was the only one doing it, so I had no reference point. I had no one to work with or get excited about this stuff with, and so it would be like I said, in a vacuum, and not really, you don't know what you don't know kind of thing. So other people may have ideas or things that help you out, and you wouldn't know about them. So yeah, I guess that was a rant. But you have your creative enemies, and then your creative champions, and honestly, those are just the people who you feel like supported you, or no matter how small, even if it was like just that one time you did a painting at school and you could tell that your mom like actually like she smiled at it or something. It could be the smallest little things, but you gotta appreciate how much those mean when it comes to, like I said, when you live in a world where you don't see too much positive or any response to creativity at all. You wanna cherish the people that do. But honestly, the two that I wrote, I definitely want to shout them out. Would be my I think she goes by a different name now, but I had a college or a high school, college writing was the class. Senior year of high school, I had a teacher named Mrs. Mazer. I think she goes by a different name now, but amazing for me, because she really championed is the best word. Like, first person I feel like who heard my true voice, because we were doing a lot of these free writing exercises in that class, and I was saying stuff that I didn't tell my friends, I didn't tell my parents. I was just sitting at home thinking, watching YouTube videos about philosophy and all this crazy stuff, and then just not really having anyone to talk to it about. So yeah, she would just have these video prompts. We'd watch some YouTube video, some speech where someone's making some kind of point, and she'd be like, what do you think? Like, what do you know what I mean? And that's awesome. I feel like that was the first college class where people were, or high school class where they were like, what do you think? And that was super sweet. And I think also that's why people probably didn't like that class, because they were like, I didn't come to school to like, you know what I mean, tell you what I think. I come to school to like check the boxes off and tell you what you want to hear. You know what I mean? So I think I thrived in that class while other people maybe been confused by the assignment. But no, I mean, I just feel like she really just, like, some of the notes she put on my pages and the way that she talked to me after class, and like when I was going off to school, just the support she had for me to continue writing and stuff like that. And yeah, I mean, I was super into writing in that time in high school, and that was the same time that I started making music. So they kind of lived separate, and I feel like because of her support over here with the writing and the music, over time, just kind of like that line was broken up, and now, you know, I write on the music, which seems like a duh moment, but I thought about the writing in this very like long form, you know, writing a scene, imagery, like just, you know, fiction writing and nonfiction, but just long form writing. And then the music was, you know, just music. Like, I thought of myself as a music producer. I didn't, you know, maybe I'd mess around on the mic just to like, you know, use the mic that I have, but I was not thinking of myself like that at all. And yeah, I feel like that really helped. And even earlier than that would be my dad. I mean, he's really talented illustrator and artist overall, and he taught me, you know, we were doing drawing lessons when I was like 9 years old, you know what I mean, and sitting down and him just teaching me techniques. And also the biggest thing I wrote down when I was journaling about this was he would dedicate large amounts of time to the art. You know, we had a big sound system, and he had his, you know, his easel type thing, drawing table, and he would just sit there for, you know, solid blocks of hours. Like, he would go through like 2 or 3 albums, you know what I mean? So at least like 2.5 hours of just sitting there drawing, you know what I mean, in silence. Just, he's got his reference over here and just going at it. And I think that set the example of like dedicating yourself to a project, you know what I mean? And that was awesome. And I think that, you know, now that I say it out loud and think about it, like, that's kind of what I glorify a lot within myself, and not even really made that connection until right now. But But yeah, so I feel like I got that commitment and that passion from him, and not even like second guessing the passion. Do you know what I mean? I think some people get sucked in by like real life responsibilities and stuff, and he never really second guessed like committing multiple hours to the project. You know what I mean? And ever really complaining about it. He either did it or he didn't. You know what I mean? It was never a negative emotion attached to it, which is a good other like layer to it. But yeah, I feel like that kind of sums up week one. How many days did I do my morning pages in the last week? What would be the date? It was March 1st, 2025 right now. Crazy. So 24th would have been Monday. Let's see what we got. All right, we got 24 right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, damn. 4 out of the 5 days, honestly. Wait, did I do Sunday too? I did Sunday and Saturday, so I actually did pretty solid. I just needed to do yesterday, but I ended up taking care of my finances at work on lunch, so I didn't journal. But yeah, man, if anyone feels like they're hitting a wall with their creativity, or if you don't think of yourself as a creative person, this is my PSA. If you don't think of yourself as a creative person, you're lying to yourself, and you put that thought in your head, or someone else put that thought in your head, and you're reinforcing it and continuing it because that's your reality. But no, like, you are creative, you are a creation. I'm not trying to get religious or anything, but it's like a reality. Like, whether you just want to think your parents created you, like, creation is an innate part of human existence. It's just like, it's the very essence of who we are. You know what I mean? And if you want to go and not use it, that's to use her words, like, that's an act of free will. Like, that's an act of will. It's not a predisposition. And so if you feel like you're blocked, if you feel like, oh, I always wanted to do pottery or write music or paint or do poetry or whatever. Even if it's not creative, literally, this could apply to things that aren't even creations. If you just want to feel more free within yourself and get like the pressure off yourself to do things right or always be right all the time, like, this book could help you, and affirmations could help you, and journaling can help you, therapy can help you. Just like figure out what's going on in your head, because that's where it starts, and realize like that's the tool that could get you anywhere you want to go. So that's my PSA. This book could definitely help you do that. I don't have an affiliate link in the description, which is good. I want her to get all the money here. But get yourself a copy. Join me on the journey. Next week, oh Lord. So I actually do need to journal the like weekend recap, which is what I was kind of doing in video form here, but I do want to get it in the book. But yes, I will see you next week. I'm really glad I jumped on YouTube and did something like this. This video is way longer than I thought, but I don't know. We'll see if I edit it or not. Maybe there's a lot that doesn't need to go, but I'm glad I got off my chest. Glad I joined you guys on here. Hopefully you'll be seeing me a lot more, at least for the Artist Way, but also new videos, new music. It's all coming. I'm working on it. Got an album. I'm not about to say big things coming, but I said it. It's too late. But have a great day. Peace.